There's a lot happening on the eShop this weekend. Aspyr has this crazy flash sale going on, with huge discounts on games. Spike Chunsoft is cooking with their huge catalog sale, as well as a bunch of other fun games on sale for deep discounts too from other publishers. There is a lot of games to talk about today, so let's not delay it any further and just dive into the list. Since the third game in the the SOMNIUM Files series just got announced via the latest Nintendo Direct, Spike Chunsoft has decided to put the first two games in the series on sale and give them their biggest discounts yet. The first game is on sale for 90% off, while the second game is on sale for 85% off. These games are visual novel adventure games with dashes of murder mystery games and puzzle solving thrown in for good measure. Both game stories revolve around solving murders and have the characters exploring dream worlds, and the story will progress based on your actions and decisions. There's branching routes to discover, and you'll need to go through them all to get the full picture. Basically, it's kind of like the excellent Zero Escape games. Typically, the gameplay is in two parts: first-person visual novel segments, and then third-person exploration. Both games have been praised for their story, art direction, and characters. This sale makes these games a steal currently. At the very least, pick up the first one at its current price if you like adventure games. That's an insane deal for it. Also from Spike Chunsoft, the Danganronpa games are on sale, with the first two games returning to their discount of 70% off for the first time in a long while. These crazy murder mystery adventure games are full of that Spike Chunsoft charm, if you get what I mean. They are eccentric games, almost non-stop. If you've ever been curious about checking out these games, then start with the first two. 70% off makes them a pretty cheap entry point. If you want the later ones, they are also on sale until April 11th. Shiren the Wanderer, the Tower of Fortune, and the Dice of Fate is the fifth entry in the Shiren the Wanderer series. This has been a part of the Mystery Dungeon games since the 1995 game on the Super Famicom. A roguelike RPG, players will need to traverse through randomized dungeons and fight monsters and collect loot and goodies, just like in the previous games. If their characters fail in the dungeon, well, they will lose their items, level resets, as well as the dungeons change. So you gotta learn when to fight and not to, and when to run to save your goodies and your hide. That said, if you do fall in battle, another player could revive you through the rescue system in the game. So there's that. The Switch version includes 3 new dungeons and a new live stream display. If you like the dungeon gameplay from the Pokemon Mystery Dungeons, and you've been looking to get into the series proper, then check this game out. It's a good starting point, and it's super cheap to get. It's on sale for 80% off until April 11th. BAKERU is a 3D platformer developed by Goodfeel, a developer who has worked on several games for Nintendo themselves in the past. The latest game is a spiritual successor to the Goemon series of games from Konami that has you traveling through the 47 Japanese prefectures to free Japan from the crazy festival troops that seem to have them under control. You'll need to use BAKERU's drumming powers, as well as his magical, transforming abilities to explore all the stages, find all the collectibles, and more importantly, beat up the bad guys along the way that try to stop you. I really like this game. I feel like it's a quality Nintendo-like platformer for the system. Truly, I think it's a gem of a game. Go check out the free demo, and if you like that, then consider picking it up at its discounted price of 30% off. I think it's well worth it, and this is coming from someone who paid full price for the game. Let's talk about the Aspyr sale. Some of the discounts from them are crazy, and they're set to expire real soon. This Monday, actually. Yep, this sale is only for this weekend, so you want to be quick. You want to get these games at huge discounts. The Tomb Raider games are getting a huge discount from this flash sale of sorts, with the Tomb Raider 1-3 Remastered starring Lara Croft collection going on sale for 60% off. Aspyr did a terrific job with the HD Remaster here. The new HD look and lighting is great in these games, and they included things like the ability to toggle between the new HD look and the classic look with the press of a button. A new modern control option for those who want to use that. Don't worry, the classic tank control scheme is there too, as well as some improvements for the player, like a health bar for the bosses, and the option to save at any point. Oh, and the expansions for each game is included too. This is the cheapest the collection has been yet on Switch, and honestly, it's a steal at that price. The super recently released Tomb Raider 4-6 Remastered collection also gets a nice sized discount at 25% off for their first time ever. The team at Aspyr not only gave these games the same treatment as the first collection, the HD visual upgrades, and improved lighting and such, but they also went as far as including several pieces of cut content and gameplay for the games, especially for Angel of Darkness, which makes that entry much more playable this time around. Finally, you can get both collections, 1-6 Remastered, in a bundle for 40% off for the first time ever, which basically makes it a little more than $30 for the games on the US eShop. The Soul Reaver games are classics, and they have been brought back recently through a remastered collection. Just like the Tomb Raider games, these games have been remastered with a new HD look, updated visuals, and textures, as well as the games include a modern control scheme option, and the ability to toggle between the HD and classic visuals with a press of a button. This collection includes an in-game map and compass for the games, as well as the inclusion of cut content from the original games too, including the day and night cycle that was cut from the first game. This collection just came out in December, but via this flash sale, it already gets a nice discount of 30% off. Stubbs the Zombie in Rebel Without a Pulse, the Xbox original game, has a HD remaster on Switch, and it's on sale, returning to its biggest discount ever of 90% off. Basically, a few bucks here. This game is set in a stylized version of 1959, where you play as Stubbs, a zombie who wants to eat some brains. In his quest for hunger, he can of course attack humans and eat their brains, but he can also convert them into zombies themselves, which can help him in his quest. You can command your self-made army to attack groups of enemies and complete tasks for you, as well as help on missions. Additionally, Stubbs can also pilot vehicles, like tanks and cars. He's a talented zombie. This reverse horror game is a classic, even with its bit of jank and weirdness. And for just a few bones, it's a cheap pickup for those who are curious. Additionally, Aspyr's catalog of classic Star Wars games, which is what I feel is what most know them for, is on sale for deep discounts too during this flash sale. For brevity's sakes though, here's my top 3 picks of Star Wars games that are going for 65% off each. The classic adventure RPG Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is always a good bet. It's largely considered to still be one of the best Star Wars games of all time. A game that allows you to take your character and guide them to the light or dark side of the Force, based on your choices and actions through the story with its famed alignment system. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer is a good racing game from yesteryear, and this game looks as crispy as ever with the HD remaster and with widescreen support. Its easy pick up and play arcade gameplay makes this one a winner. Star Wars Republic Commando is a fun squad-based tactical shooter that has you controlling a group of clone troopers in missions. You gotta guide them to positions, to advance attacks, or defend points, or to activate things like doors and equipment and such. It's got a unique type of gameplay for a Star Wars game, and it's also considered to be one of the better Star Wars games ever made. OBAKEIDORO, and pardon me if I slaughtered that name, is also known as Bail or Jail, and it's a 1-on-3 asymmetrical multiplayer game that can be best described as Dead by Daylight but family friendly. 4 players take control of 3 humans and 1 monster, and the monster must capture all the humans to win. For the humans to win, at least 1 human needs to be out of jail. You might remember this game from a free game trial Nintendo did for Halloween a few years back. It seemed to be a pretty fun game, at least from what I played from it. The game supports online and local play, as well as single player too, with bots, something that most of these types of games seem to lack. It seems like a nice game, again a friendly concept of Dead by Daylight, and it's currently on sale for the cheapest it's ever been. It's got a discount of 70% off until April 18th. ARKANOID Eternal Battle features the classic Taito brick-breaking arcade gameplay the series is known for, with some modern twists and features. Included with the game is the new Eternal Battle mode, an online mode that supports 25 players facing off against each other, almost in a battle royale mode of sorts, to see who will survive. There's a new Neo mode that gives the classic gameplay a new coat of paint, plus a versus mode that supports up to 4 players facing off against each other through local and online play, and finally a retro mode for those who missed the classic arcade original. It's currently on sale on the eShop at 85% off. XELAN Force is a shoot-'em-up that features a visual look and sound design that's reminiscent of the 8-bit era, particularly the NES. The gameplay centers around what the developers call the PLS, or Pilot Level Score System. The difficulty will change on the fly depending on the player's skill. The better the player is doing in the game, the higher the difficulty will go, and the better the score you can obtain. The gameplay looks fun, there's lots of power-ups, and it reminds me a bit of the excellent Star Soldier games. In fact, there's a caravan mode included in the game that's similar to the ones found in those games. Anyway, I figured I'd give this game a shout out since it looks pretty cool. It's on sale for 40% off for the first time ever, $6 even on the US eShop. I've long said that the Turrican Anthology collections are the best way to experience the Turrican series. The care and detail to these collections are some of the best I've ever seen in any game collection. The collections include a ton of stuff, like a fully detailed in-game map feature for all the games, options for Amiga, classic console, or modern controller support, different selectable in-game soundtracks for each game, unlockable cheats, a gallery containing tons of art scans, manual scans, and more, a jukebox feature so you can listen to all the music, and enhancements like save state and rewind support, and loads more. The first volume includes Turrican 1 and 2 for the Amiga, Super Turrican and the Director's Cut version for the Super Nintendo, and the Score Attack version of Mega Turrican. The second volume includes Turrican 3 for the Amiga, Mega Turrican for the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive, as well as the Director's Cut version of that, Super Turrican 2 for the Super Nintendo, and Super Turrican 1 Score Attack version. You'll want to get both collections to get the full series of games, and trust me, you will want to. They're all good games. There isn't a bad game at all in the Turrican series. Each collection is on sale for 72% off for the first time ever. Want an excellent beat-em-up game for the Switch? Then look no further than Jitsu Squad. This over-the-top, frantic beat-em-up allows you to play as one of the 4 characters and perform crazy combos and attacks using fighting game-style commands in order to beat up the bad guys. The gameplay is great, and the soundtrack is too. It supports a local multiplayer of up to 4 players, making this a good couch co-op game. I had some reservations about the performance of the game when it initially came out on the Switch. You might remember my review from a few years ago, but the developers have since smoothed out the experience, and I can recommend it now fully. No Man's Sky is space exploration at its finest, and the amount of content in this game will keep you busy for hundreds of hours. Exploring, trading, building bases, space combat, and even space fishing, and there's lots more you can do. The Switch version is impressive, all things considering. Hello Games did an excellent job making magic with this port, and they've kept it up to date with all the content updates too. Save Crossplay makes this a great companion version for those who have the game on the other systems, as you're able to take your save and play the game on the go, and you can transfer it back to another version. It's back on sale for 60% off on the eShops until April 10th. Now, as usual, near the end of these deal videos, I like to take some time to revisit a few game sales that are set to expire soon on the eShop. So here's one last look at those deals before they go away. When you think of Monster Hunter, you think of the main series typically, the ones where you beat up or try to beat up powerful monsters, either by yourself or with others, or on a quest to get stronger through the materials that they drop. But trust me, do not sleep on its spin-off series, the Monster Hunter Stories series. These are games that take elements and gameplay of the main Monster Hunter series, and it combines it with turn-based monster collecting JRPG gameplay, and it ends up working rather well. In these games, instead of being a hunter, you are tasked with being a monster rider, and that involves taming monsters from the famed series, and befriending them, and using them in battle. Gotta hunt for eggs, aim for the best stats, and raise them to be powerful while progressing each game's story. Now don't think that these games are entirely solo experiences. They do have multiplayer, where you can face off against other players, or even team up through co-op play through exclusive missions. These are awesome games, and definitely worth checking out. The 3DS version got a HD Remastered, which came out last year, and it's currently on sale for a brand new low price on the North American eShops. It gets a 50% off discount until March 31st. If you haven't yet picked up the sequel, then the collection is worth considering, as it contains both the first game and the second game, and it has a discounted price of 42% off, which ends up being a huge discount for the bundle of 2 games. The Messenger is a solid, retro-inspired action platformer that has you playing as a young ninja who is tasked with a mission that he must complete in order for his clan to survive. Initially, the game starts off as a pretty linear, straightforward game, but eventually, it'll transition into a full-blown Metroidvania experience, as you're tasked with revisiting prior levels and exploring them in more detail. The game's humor and various nods to classic 8-bit and 16-bit games from yesteryear, as well as spot-on gameplay, are highlights, and it's a pretty fun game with lots of variety to the stages to keep you engaged. At 80% off, it gets a double thumbs up from me. Ape Out has you playing as a gorilla while trying to escape through a maze from gun-wielding humans. You'll need to smash, as well as grab the humans, use them as a shield, throw them, and more, all to reach a goal without being killed. The game is a fun take on the beat-em-up genre, and it's filled with publisher Devolver Digital's trademark level of violence too, as you can pretty much tell from the gameplay shown here. It's super cheap right now, at its biggest discount ever, of 87% off, which makes it the perfect game to pick up on a whim. You'll be pleasantly surprised with this one if you pick it up. The Talos Principle is an award-winning, first-person puzzle-adventure game that has you playing as an AI who has been placed in a simulation of humanity's ruins. Players are tasked with solving over 120 puzzles that can be found within the game's world. If you love solving puzzles and brain teasers, then this is a game that you simply should check out. It's got a ton, and some of them will really put your brain to the test. It's on sale at its biggest discount ever, 87% off currently on the eShop. Yoku's Island Express is a unique game that combines Metroidvania gameplay elements with pinball. Yeah, it's a crazy mix, but it works. You need to explore, find upgrades, battle enemies, and bosses, all by using pinball mechanics. This is a great hidden gem that's very cheap on the eShop. It's 80% off currently. Gato Roboto is a 2D Metroidvania that has you playing as a cat in a mech on a quest to save its captain. Don't let this one fool you though. Ridiculous plot concept and black and white visuals aside, this is actually a really fun mini Metroidvania that is totally worth it given its tiny price tag. A game that's perfect for an afternoon or two, and it's sweet from start to finish, with plenty of shooting and platforming action. For those looking for a chill or a relaxing game on the cheap, you consider picking up a game called Alba, a wildlife adventure. It's an open world game where you explore an island while also trying to assist and save the wildlife on it. The game is all about exploring at your own pace while searching every corner of the island to see what you can find. The game won a lot of praise about its message about nature as well as for its gameplay. If you like the Pokemon Snap games, or just like cozy games in general, I think you'll like this one. It's currently on sale on the eShop for 85% off. The Swords of Ditto, Mormo's Curse, is a top-down action RPG where players take control of a randomly generated hero, and you're tasked with defeating an enemy known as Mormo within a certain amount of time. You need to explore, find items, and defeat loads of enemies each time as you set about your mission. This game has a little bit of Zelda vibes here, mixed with a bit of Cartoon Network style animation. It is pretty fun though, and it's really enjoyable in couch co-op too. It's on sale for its biggest discount ever, 87% off. Boomerang X is a first-person slasher, I guess. I mean, unlike having a gun, this time around, you'll have a boomerang. You'll need to slash and chuck it through hordes of enemies. What really makes this game stand out is all the tricks and acrobatics you can perform with using the boomerangs. And you'll need to master those tricks in order to zip and bounce around those 3D stages. If you like boomer shooters, or you're looking for something that stands out a bit, or is a bit unique from the rest, then check out Boomerang X. Plus it's super cheap right now on the eShop. It's discounted to 90% off the first time ever. Broforce is a side-scrolling run-and-gun platformer that has you playing as one of these several quote-unquote bros, which many of them are parodies of famous fictional characters, and as them, you'll need to save the bros' teammates and other POWs while blasting anyone who stands in your way. One of the neat aspects of this game is the destructible environments, the explosions and bombs and gunfire that can destroy many of the game's buildings and environments. This game has received many content updates and expansions over the years, which has added a slew of playable characters and missions, so there's a lot to enjoy here. The game also has local and online multiplayer support for up to 4 players. This is a blast to play, and I highly recommend it at its current discounted price. It's on sale for 87% off until April 3rd. And there you go, that's the rundown on the latest eShop deals. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and make sure to drop by the Discord to say hi. I got a link to that down below, and also make sure to stop by on April 2nd, as we're going to have a watch along in the Discord for the new Switch 2 reveal. I can't wait, that is going to be a big day, to say the least. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll catch you soon on the next video.